Okay, so I wanted to give a quick automotive state of the union as far as what do I have in my current lineup of cars. People ask me, what the heck do you drive? And well, it's complicated, but this is one of them. This is my truck, a trusty old farm truck, the 1941 Chevrolet half-ton. It's pretty fair shape for a rusty old farm truck. Does run, does drive, does so pretty well for what it is. Some holes in the floor I got to patch up. The round one's an inspection hole. Those other ones were modified to be there once upon a time. Don't really know why. That's there. So gets lots of fumes and exhaust and whatnot when driving it. Yeah, so I definitely only drive this around town. Not that you'd go long distance in one of these anyways. In a pre-war pickup truck. But yeah, I actually got this guy way back in 2009 as a wedding gift. A family friend of my then fiance's was like, hey, I've got a bunch of old interesting trucks and cars and stuff on my property. They were my late husband's, and I'm going to give one of them to you as a wedding gift. So got me pick of the litter. There was all kinds of fun stuff in there. Maybe I'll do a video on this truck more in depth once upon a time. But this is what I ended up taking home. It does have a mid-50s 235 in it. The original Babbitt Beater 216. What that means is probably a little bit more power. But most importantly, I just have to close all the way. Most importantly, you got a pressurized oil system. How luxurious. But does run and drive. I've got the artillery wheels on there. Same style tires. It's got an original Fulton I should say, aluminum visor there. And it's just a fun, cool old truck. Yeah, so we're starting there. Next, we're gonna go over here. So this is my 1990 325i, an E30. A little bit of a project, but it doesn't need a whole lot. And to be fair, when I say it's mine, it's really half mine. I went halvesies on this car as a quick project to turn around and have some fun with for a little bit, with a gentleman named Chadwick. You might know him on the YouTubes and the Instagrams as the Auto Obsessed Garage. And check this out, 126,000 original miles. This was a one-owner car. Been in the Bay Area its whole life. The original owner, unfortunately, from my understanding, is no longer with us. But the car sat for a little bit because of that, and we're going to be working on it, bringing it back, doing stuff like timing belt and water pump. Already done a few things on it. You know, new plugs. Did this headlamp switch with C, so we did that. Had a shop press a new pinion bearing and driver's rear wheel bearing in it. Yeah, fun stuff like that. But 5-speed manual, sedan, bronze it over natural tan leather, which is all in really nice shape. And sweetheart of a car. Definitely gonna have some more video on this at one point once it's truly ready to go, hopefully sooner than later. Just got it smogged today, and I'm out here waiting for a truck to come get it to take it over to Chadwick's. He's got more room than I do. I don't want to, this thing's kind of too nice to street park all the time, so I'm gonna try and avoid that. So gonna get that over to him. He's gonna do the timing belt and water pump because I got too much stuff going on right now. And yeah, that one's gonna be really fun. That's a really sweet car. Kind of hard to find one owner 5-speed manual E30s nowadays, even more so in a sedan, so that's cool. And then there's this big old thing. This is my 2004 Sienna all-wheel drive. This is the Daily, and I don't know if you can really tell, but it's big. Got a 3.5-inch suspension lift on it from the guys over at Journeys Off-Roads. They're based out of Arizona. And with that kit Got wheel spacers up front, 1-inch wheel spacers, so there's enough clearance for the strut. You can see there, it leaves a whole lot. So that helps pull it away from the body of the strut. So I've got a little clearance there. And then a 1.5-inch spacer in the rear. And that's pretty much it. Almost 200, actually just yesterday, driving back from Cloverdale, shot a wedding up there. Yeah, and it just turned 230,000 miles. And still drives great. Yeah, it's not too flashy, but it's a lifted minivan, so that's interesting. I would at some point like to do maybe like a light bar up top, maybe some other stuff. I don't know. I don't think I can get a grill guard, but for a daily, it's pretty rad. I should probably take it out into the mud. We can maybe show what it does out there, but that'll be another day. Also for another day, this is my 1991 Subaru Sambar. There's a couple of different names. Sometimes it's referred to as the Sambar Super Deluxe, also called the Sambar Dias. I don't know if it's Dias or Dias or whatever, but I'm going to say Dias, as you see here. What that means is 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive, selectable 4-wheel drive, not supercharged. Supercharged model is a Dias 2. This is just the regular Dias. So the supercharged model, you get only full-time 4-wheel drive, not selectable, and a supercharger, which got you a whole 9 extra horsepower, which is rad. Got the big old sunroof. This guy does power slide back, although it's kind of wonky and parts are unobtainium as far as getting them to fix that, and I don't want to get it stuck open, so I don't touch it. This one does pop open, so you can pop that one. It tilts forward and up, and then this one slides all the way back if it was working properly. And this is, first off, really fun to drive, but besides that, I'm turning this into a tiny miniature photo booth on wheels. So I'm gonna build this out. This bench seat is going to go backwards, so hopefully the front it can be to about here, so there's more room. The photo booth apparatus situation will be here. It'll be a touch screen, and it's all going to be hardcore 90s themed. I want to do a flat screen TV facing outwards in the back, so when it's all set up, this will tilt open, and I'm going to have like a Super Nintendo or an N64 set up back here. So while you're waiting and hanging, you can go ahead and play some 90s video games. So this is a work in progress. I've got an illustrator working on some logo design ideas right now. But this thing's absolutely hilarious to drive. Takes a minute to get used to. Right-hand drive, shift into manual with your left hand, signals are on the other side. Pretty standard left-hand drive problems, or I should say right-hand drive problems in a left-hand drive world. But the good news is this thing's like 52, 53-ish inches wide. So, you know, if you're crowding the center line a little bit, you wouldn't notice it. Or it's so skinny, you've got a lot of play in the lane, in the road to squeeze yourself in until you get the hang of it. So, really fun, really good shape. I found this guy out of Portland, and I'll probably maybe make a little bit more updates on it as we get closer to photo booth completion. And this is what's up next. This is my newest pickup, although I've got a little personal history with this car. This came from my car donation photography client. I kind of brokered a sale of this car to the same gentleman, Chadwick, that's helping me out with the E30. We're tag teaming that car, but I had just flat out sold him this one, shoot, I don't know, year and a half ago. And yeah, he did an awful lot of work on this thing, and I told him when it's done, I want first right of refusal as far as being able to buy it, because once upon a time I owned one of these, and I always really enjoyed it, and I wanted to own another one. So he put, like, I don't know, 60 plus hours worth of labor into this thing, did a whole bunch of deferred maintenance. He's got some video stuff you can find on that, some videos he did of that process. But it's, yeah, it was one owner up until Chadwick acquired it, and I was able to get it to him. And yeah, it's got 145,000 miles. It really is a gem of a car. Drives really well. Currently, however, as it sits, something went awry with the PCV valve, PCV system, and it may or may not need yet another freshly rebuilt turbo. To be determined. I'm hoping it's just got a plugged up oil line or something, but it's smoking like a freight train. It did that on about the first 30 miles that I had it, and that's of zero fault of Chadwick's. And just completely some weird circumstance with regards to some poor prior maintenance that was done on it before Chadwick got it. He was able to correct some PCV system issues, and then 30 miles, maybe 100 miles later, total, after that was all done, the turbo's now smoking like a freight train. So either there's something back up with the PCV system again, number 1114, or the funky skunky PCV system where I'll quickie lube oil change shop put the wrong PCV valve in it for a non-turbo car and pressurize the bejesus out of the crankcase. Perhaps that damaged the oil seals in the turbo, and now it's coming home to roost. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks I'll have the turbo fished out of here, or have some other troubleshooting done on it and kind of see where we're at. But it was a brand new, freshly rebuilt turbo, so it really, hopefully, is just worst case scenario, turbo oil seals, and otherwise I'm hoping it's something ultimately not crazy. If that's worst case scenario, I can live with that. It's the original 14B turbo, or an original 14B turbo. It's not really the original 14B turbo. Don't mind my messy backyard. It's just a thing right now. I'm not gonna make excuses for it, let's be real. My backyard is messy, as is my garage. That's why there's random things that should be in the garage or out of the garage, because I'm kind of blowing this up in here right now. But I'm doing this because I'm getting to this. Yeah, I do have a motorcycle. I got it for peanuts. I have no intentions of riding it. But I would like to get it fixed one day. It's a 1965 Yamaha YG1T. The T is for trail. It means it's got some little bit more ground clearance. It's got these funny little quote-unquote mud flaps, and then they shorten up the seat. So instead of the two-person seat, you get a one-person seat and a little carrier for your fruit basket or your picnic basket or some sort of basket. I don't know, but that's what that's for. And then I have this, which I am in the process of struggling to get through smog. This is a 1982 Porsche 924 Turbo. This one has, I think, 128,000 miles on the odometer, which, strangely enough, this old video odometer actually works. But I got seat covers for it. I'm going to put on it for the fronts. A couple of little things in here. Shift boot, get the interior cleaned up. I've already done some stuff. I just put new fuel injectors in it. I just put new weather strippings on it because these were cracked and broken. Your hatch struts. It's in pretty good shape. There's a little ding here on the back corner under the tail lamp. Not the end of the world. But it's cool. 1982, last year, this car. And they didn't make a whole lot. I think they sold like 850 or something in all of North America for 1982. This is my temporary shop lamp. And what I've been doing in here is I'm about to yank the valve cover, make sure that everything's looking good in there. I don't anticipate any problems. This motor was kind of had the top end rebuilt once upon a time. I've got some records and photos of that being done from the prior owner. But long story short is it is absolutely running super rich once it's under load. So it sounds like a Bosch CIS fuel injection issue. It's basically running really rich once it's on a smog dyno and under load. When it's sitting there on the ground, not under load, it blows perfectly clean. But give it a little bit of fuel, give it a little bit of load, and it fattens up real big. So I just put brand new injectors in it to see where that gets me. If any of those were leaking, that could cause some issues. I'm also going to maybe get into the warm-up regulator, see if I can get to the bottom of what's going on with that. And that's kind of it. I still have the charge pipe off. Just the other night I did those injectors, and so I'm going to get a new gasket for the charge pipe. I'm going to pull the valve cover and probably refinish it while I'm at it, and then I'm probably going to do the timing belt. That's what I was just looking up there. It seems like a very, very simple timing belt replacement in the world of timing belts. But this one, the head was off of it like 20 years ago, and I don't know that the timing belt's been done in between here and there, so I don't want to risk it. I do believe these are a non-interference motor in a non-turbo application, but the turbos are somehow a an interference setup. So it's worth me doing. And then, yeah, hopefully I might have to fish the warm-up regulator out of there and get it rebuilt. I've got a sneaking suspicion that might be causing the enrichment issue. But I'm not a Bosch CIS expert, so, TBD. We'll see how that goes. And that's basically the entire current fleet, not counting the wife's really kind of 240,000 mile Lexus RX 330. And then also not pictured here, my first car, which I still own, although it hasn't been at the house for quite some time. It's over at a buddy's shop. That's the 1965 Barracuda. Yeah, details to follow on that. But that's pretty much the rundown of what I've got right now. I should probably do some stuff. I don't know about full-on videos or whatever, but maybe just some quick reviews on some of these once I've got them running and going, and maybe do a why buy type of a video like some of my other videos I've done, which I kind of just talk about the overarching merits of the individual vehicles and why anyone would want to own one. But that's it. If you want to do all the YouTube things, go ahead and push the various buttons for subscribe and notification and all that exciting stuff. Comment if you want to. Mock my messy garage that's like half camera stuff, half stuff I just pulled down for Christmas ornaments and whatnot. Half photo booth project over there. It's a bit of a mishmash. So mock me for that publicly and openly. Otherwise, thanks for watching along. Cheers.